First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Monaski and I are completely obsessed when it comes to the weather. But I think everybody probably is, right? You have Memorial Day weekend coming up. And for a lot of people, they start taking tomorrow off. For a lot of people, today's their last day until the weekend. And we've had a little switch in the forecast.
Well, yeah, it's gotten worse.
It has gotten worse. My mother always says, if the forecast is calling for good weather, never trust it. Mm-hmm. But if it's calling for bad weather, you can usually count on it.
So here's a change. And good morning to Richard. Okay, so here's what Richard sent me this morning, and I checked it out. And you, as you indicated, it's
today's going to be nice,
forecast.
By the way. Today is actually going to be pretty decent.
But here's what he's got here. He says, change in course. Friday, upper 40s with 2 inches of rain. Saturday, upper 50s, rain. Sunday, upper 50s, rain. Monday, cloudy, mid-60s. Oh, well, it is what it is. Now, the forecast that I see isn't great, but it's not that bad. It says Friday, rain, high of 54.
I show 49.
Wow.
Upper 50s Saturday
40s.
With rain. Here's the problem. Rain Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it looks like Monday we might reach the lower 70s with sun and clouds. So, but again, that can change. Partly clouds is a good thing. I mean, you'll have more sun than clouds. But again, it's Thursday. That forecast usually, the Monday forecast sometimes will change on Saturday or Sunday, depending on how long this cold front swings through and decides to stay. Anyway, not looking great. Where I would be most bothered is if I've rented a camp for the weekend, or you're heading up to Old Forge. Speculator, I have a friend in Speculator that's saying that they're looking at temperatures in the 30s overnight this weekend.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be
one night this
weekend,
cold. I think even down here in the lower elevation, we're in the upper 30s overnight, 38 or something.
Yeah. Well, the good news is you can drink yourself to warmth, I guess, if that's what you do.
You know what?
The Liquor Authority got rid of all of their restrictions yesterday.
And that's effective immediate.
Yeah. So really what they're doing is kicking it over to the health department. So the health department still does have restrictions, and any bar or restaurant has to follow that. The other interesting part of this whole thing is, and I didn't know this, but do you know that if you were fined, we heard all the stories of this bar was fined $10,000. This one had a $15,000 fine. All of those fines have been deferred.
Huh?
So unless your license was suspended, that's a different thing. If it was egregious to the point where they pulled your license,
okay,
there's a fine, and you still had to, I believe, pay for that. But I'm pretty sure everything, like pick a place. My cousin has a place in Mohawk. I believe, according to what I was trying to dig into yesterday, I believe all those fines have been deferred. Now, they're not gone, but it's one of those things where it's got a permanent deferral. Or a semi-permanent. I don't know how long that lasts.
If you got a $10,000 fine in June, you had to pay it.
No.
You didn't have to pay it.
No, I think all those fines ended up being deferred.
Oh, well, didn't some people, I would assume, I don't know,
well,
when people paid right out of the gate and just said, I want to get this done with. And
I think that you agreed to make the payment. Well, okay. I'd love to hear from maybe somebody who was fined. From what I understand, you agreed to make the payment, and then basically everything was deferred through the pandemic, and it's just kind of continued that way. Now, if you were shut down, it's a different story. You're going to have to pay to get your license back. The other thing is some of the places, and maybe you have some knowledge on this, 315-736-0186. The other thing is interesting, too, about this decision yesterday. And actually, I was watching the and anybody can do this. You just go to the Liquor Authority website. I must say it can be like watching paint dry, because it goes through all of these places all over the state that you care nothing about, and then it'll hit something around here. And it usually goes from like 10 in the morning until 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's long. But I put it on in the background and I'm doing other things. You ought to see me. I duct tape my laptop to my lawnmower, and I'm able to push the lawnmower around. That's not true. So so from what I understand is that if I'm correct, if you negotiated, let's say you negotiated a $10,000 fine, and that you would no longer allow, you now close every night at 10 o'clock. You couldn't serve alcohol after 10. That was on your license. So let's say, and I'm just using that as an example, let's say that the governor said, okay, bars and restaurants can now be open till midnight. Your license still says 10 o'clock. That's what you negotiated as part of your fine, if you will. So it's $10,000 plus no more this, that, or the other thing. That's on your license. That all goes away as soon as you get your new license, which is expected to go out this week.
Interesting. Okay.
So you'll go back to so a bar owner or restaurant will go back to their original, and I think this involves about 150 plus. I don't know if there's any around here, but it involves about 150 plus, according to one of the commissioners. About 150 plus licenses. So they'll be getting their old license basically back in the mail, and everything will go back to normal. But you still have to follow the CDC guidelines, which basically is what the health department is doing, and that is social distance and wear a mask. If you aren't vaccinated, vaccinated people can gather as normal. And oh, by the way, how do you tell if someone's vaccinated? It's the honor system.
Yeah. So. The way, and I'm not taking issue with with what you're saying, but it's like the bars and the restaurants have to follow CDC guidelines. The guideline is if you're not vaccinated, you must wear a mask and social distance. However, the bar owner can't ask you if you're vaccinated. We actually have a story on our website that it's like a HIP violation for a business.
They can't ask you?
They can't
really?
ask.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So how? It just seems weird to me that the obligation is on the bars and restaurants when they're not allowed to ask you. It's an honor system. The obligation shouldn't be on them. It's actually on you.
Well, it is, and that's why it's the honor system. So, and I believe that the deferral, and I might be wrong, that the deferral may at some point still be due. I don't think it goes away, but I think it has been deferred up to this point.
Okay.
On a month-by-month basis. So maybe there are some that say, all right, listen, I've got $10,000. I can pay that without a problem. Here's the money. Give me my license. Make sure I have my license. And I want to end this whole thing. But others may have deferred, and I believe that deferral is not permanent, but it's been deferred.
Oh, well, good for them.
I think that will mean, though, that there are a lot of bars and restaurants it'll be coming up on them where all of a sudden they're going to have to pay it. So hopefully they have the ability to get that money. I guess that's what all of that means. So, but at some point we hope to be able to talk to Greeley Ford and clarify a lot of this. But it's been a tough position for them, I think. In conversations that I've had over the last year with Greeley, it's very tough, and with bar owners. And this has been a real tough situation for everybody to get through.
There's no question.
And I think they're through it now. We're on the other side finally.
Yeah, doesn't it feel good to say that, to hear that?
I read a headline this morning that said this is the beginning of the end of the American pandemic. Let's hope that's the case.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, no question. Yeah. And look, I complain about some of the meetings I have to sit through. Man, Greeley's in one every week from 10 to 3. Holy Toledo.
Yeah, they go on for a long
Well, yeah, because it's also
time.
And they left the main headline as the the lifting of the restrictions for the end, I'd imagine. But you've got all the Willie's Tavern. They want to apply for their license extension here on Saturday the 14th. Are we going to give it to them? Well, let's review. I mean,
that is.
that kind of
I think that is kind of what in a normal. I mean, and that's the thing. If you're Greeley Ford and you said, yeah, I think I'll be on the liquor authority. I like it. I will accept this job. It's like what's her name, the former health commissioner in Oneida County.
Oh, Phyllis Ellis.
It's like Phyllis was like, sure, I will be of course, Oneida County health director. I'll do that. And then the pandemic hits. And then it's like, are you kidding? I have to deal with this every day in and day out?
I was supposed to retire at one time.
You told me this would be an easy job.
God bless her. She did a very good job for a long time.
She did. She absolutely did.
You know, you talked about those.
And
meetings.
I don't blame her for retiring, by the way.
I've sat through a couple of those, or at least rewatched on YouTube. I believe they post those on YouTube, the meetings.
Yes.
And I've sat through at least portions of it. And it just shows you where we were in the middle of the pandemic. I think you brought this up at one point, but it's like you listen to the meeting and they're like, oh, not only did they have a cheese platter out, there were people dancing.
Yeah. And how about and doesn't the governor have some rule on dancing?
It's all convoluted.
Who knows?
The interesting
that's
thing
got to
is,
be deferred, right?
That has nothing to do with that has nothing to do with the liquor authority, and that would be, I think, something that would probably continue. I mean, that'll continue if that's the health department rule.
Yeah, and the thing is I think especially with proms and senior balls and stuff like that, it's like
terrible.
You can't bring kids from other schools, which I guess I can understand that.
Sometimes that was always a rule, even without the pandemic.
Right, and it's so specific. Like, well, if you're in the same floor, if your classes are on the same floor for periods 1 through 5, you can dance with that person. But if you go to switch classrooms after 1 o'clock, you can't dance with those people. It's like so specific.
Now, there is something very interesting to note here. Is that? Are you noticing that the restrictions are now being lightened when it comes to wedding receptions and banquets and that sort of thing? Mm-hmm. There is a really funny coincidence.
There is indeed.
And Andrew, that is?
That Governor Cuomo's youngest daughter is set to be wed on June 12th at the Executive Mansion.
And June 11th, all the restrictions are going to go away.
Yeah, it is.
Party hardy. It'll be the Cuomo party hardy rule.
It's going to be the biggest party this mansion has ever seen. I'm going to be kissing men, women, children, grandparents.
There's the father-daughter dance. There's the father-sister dance. There's the father-mother-in-law dance. There's the father. It'll be a lot of fun.
There's going to be the father and then all of the friends of the bride dance and grope.
The chicken dance will be, I'll grab you, I'll keep grabbing you until you yell chicken. That's the new chicken dance.
Oh boy.
How low can he go?
So I will say this, though.
I'm electric. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Boogie.
Some people are saying, basically saying that the governor's allowing all this stuff to go on now, easing all these restrictions because his daughter is getting married.
I think that's probably not the case.
Well, it's just, what would we be saying right now if the CDC came out with their recommendation about masks and all these other states are doing all these things that you don't have to wear a mask and you can go and they're reducing capacity and there's 15,000 people at Madison Square Garden, yet at the same time the governor's playing hardball with I don't know, I don't agree with the CDC.
My guess
We'd be killing him.
He has done that before.
He has, and he hasn't as of late, but my guess is you'd be saying, why do we live in California? This is ridiculous. Because that's what they've been through.
Yeah.
I mean, they delayed it for 30 days. I think they're still in their old restrictions. I think.
It's unbelievable because out there it's 70 degrees at least every day in
you
sunshine.
do so much outside. Yeah. Although the cities, you have the density and they had it tough, but I think at some point you got to just say, let's get through this. The numbers are low, and be responsible, do the right thing, and let's try to get back to some normalcy.
And how is Gavin Newsom sticking with this for another 30 days? What, he's got probably a couple of weeks left now.
I would think.
While he's being recalled.
That was first announced right when it was right when the CDC made that drop the mask announcement. But you remember Cuomo held off for another 3 or 4 days before he allowed it.
Well, interestingly, and it's funny because we had said, how does it feel? Because he would come out there and drop a bombshell in a live press conference, and all the local officials across the state would go, "Wait a minute, what just changed? What happened?"
Yeah.
No warning. I think he kind of felt the same way. They eased that. That was a big shock to everybody.
Yeah,
they came out.
Totally agree. Let's see. By the way, the Cuomo impeachment. If you want an update on that, right now the impeachment probe, led by the Attorney General in New York, has interviewed. How many people do you think they've interviewed? So this would tell you are they really investigating? So how many people have been interviewed? Do you think?
Over 50.
You're saying over 50?
Mm-hmm. I was going to go that way too.
75. It's up to 75. That's a pretty good number.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that just does not include, that includes other people, witnesses, not necessarily victims.
Right,
if
right,
you will.
right.
We call them
correct
victims. I think that's what they're calling them. Speaking of that, Mickey Callaway has just
crazy.
been put on the disabled list, the injured list, whatever they call that, the IL. He is no longer available. He's basically barred from baseball right now.
The inappropriate list? Is that
what they call it? Yeah.
No, I think there is an exact thing. It's on the back of your sports page there. I
think it's
ineligible list.
I think it's the IL, which is what everybody goes on, right? If a player is not available, they go on the ineligible list. They've changed it from the disabled list. I think the word disabled was becoming offensive.
Right. So
correct.
The players who are injured is the injured list, but I think in Callaway's case, it's the ineligible list.
You're correct. Callaway's fired by the Angels. He was after being placed on the ineligible list. According to The Athletic, Callaway will be banned through the end of 2022 following the league's investigation into alleged sexual misconduct.
And it might go on past. He's going to have to ask to be reinstated.
The news outlet reports 5 women accused the former coach of sending shirtless photos, requesting naked photos, and other improper conduct. Such instances occurred while he was the pitching coach in Cleveland and the manager of the New York Mets.
Can I get a quote, Mickey? Well, it depends on what you send me tonight in my inbox.
And you have to look at this picture of me with my shirt off.
Who unsolicited does that?
I don't know. As a
guy.
I think you have a problem. I think you must have a problem. If you don't know that that's wrong, inappropriate, and going to get you into hot water, then you must have a problem. And this is not the story of it was the Christmas party, it was everybody's together, everybody's doing inappropriate things. And I just went too far. I was holding a press conference at the end of my daily job, and this is what I did. I just don't understand it, right?
I agree. I didn't mean to laugh at that because I don't think it's funny. I was reading a comment here from John and Marcy, who's weighing in on the upcoming wedding. And he said there's going to be a special dance at the wedding. It'll be the father and someone else's daughter dance.
That is far better said.
Kissing optional, but highly encouraged.
Yes. Yes. Isn't there an old dance? There was the twist. There was the grope. There was the grope. Yeah.
The grope.
The grope. I can't believe also that he's doing this basically a raffle for free education.
So I walk into,
but he is including, because I know this got you irritated yesterday, children who've already been vaccinated.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
because that would be BS.
There's a weekly drawing now that's going on.
Yeah. So he's doing it like Ohio did it. So everyone who has been vaccinated, everyone who gets vaccinated is eligible to be in the drawing to win free tuition for 4 years,
and
at a New York at New York schools.
Wait! Everybody who's been vaccinated, or
12 and
everybody
17.
who's been vaccinated since they announced it?
No. Everyone. What Andrew's saying is that it's including people who have previously been vaccinated.
No, I didn't take
since that started. 12 to 17, right?
Yeah, I guess as I walked in, I got a little annoyed because I didn't understand it that way.
I did too, and I think that you could clarify that, Andrew. I think that would be good.
It says the offer will last for 6 weeks and is also available to teens who have already been vaccinated.
Okay, I think that makes it pretty clear. I didn't include that in the story then. Walmart, are you following this story? This is crazy. Walmart has now apologized for an email that went out containing that, and you got to be thinking that somebody did this. Well, clearly somebody did this on purpose. It says here it's an auto-generated email that usually contains a subject line saying, "Welcome to Walmart." It sent out a mass text to customers that instead read, "Welcome to Walmart, comma, N-word."
No.
Yeah, in plural, by the way. So kind of like something I'm like with a bass going in the background, boom, 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 and then I could hear that in a rap song, right?
Okay, yeah.
But it is inappropriate for anybody else to utter those words.
So what are they saying happened here? Somebody hacked in, or did they know the person
we
who sent it?
We discovered that an external bad actor created false Walmart accounts with obvious intent to offend our customers. Oh my God! We were shocked and I think they're trying to say appalled here, but in the story it reads, "We were shocked and appealed to see this offensive and unacceptable." These offensive and unacceptable emails. We're looking into our sign-up process to ensure something like this doesn't happen again. We're also looking into all available means to hold those responsible accountable. And all I'm saying is before you have the vision of who's sitting in their basement that did this, you don't know that it's definitely a white person that did that. It could have been somebody of color that decided this will be funny.
It could be somebody from outside the country, too.
It could absolutely be.
Oh,
yeah.
The race stuff always gets them going over there.
This could be the way to undermine America. Many of those who received the email were quick to voice their outrage on social media and got the topic to trend. What's the best way to contact you guys for a very inappropriate email my daughter received in their inbox from you, said one on Twitter. While there's no evidence of any internal hack at Walmart, the company said that any falsely created accounts that were used to send the racial slur have been shut down. Anyway, for a company like Walmart, you're big enough where you got to hope that you have a good enough security system to prevent someone from being able to hack in like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, where was this? This was Walmart customers across the country or one particular city?
This went across the country. The story comes from the Daily News, New York Daily News.
Wow.
And Geraldo Rivera is in the news, and he tweeted about this, actually tweeted a photo out on the whole thing. And I guess he's been up the canal a couple of times.
Yeah.
On his really nice boat. And now he's on Lake Erie, and apparently he was boarded, pulled over, if you will, and boarded. I don't know how they refer to that. Stopped and boarded by the U.S. Coast Guard. And they did a thorough 30-minute safety search, and turned out everything was okay. They all took pictures, and Geraldo was on his way. I think he's going to Ohio or something like that. But he just gets on that boat, and they sail all over the place.
Can I ask?
Oh, by the way, somebody said they were probably thinking you had President Trump on board, and you were smuggling him into Canada or something. Because he was right at the Canadian border.
Oh, my God.
Trump was not on board, just for the record.
You said they took photos?
Geraldo has photos on his Twitter page.
There is an
a photo.
Okay, if he took it, forget what I'm going to say. But there's like this rule. For instance, if I go to Cooperstown to cover the Hall of Fame as a person of media with a media credential,
I've been kicked. I was once kicked out of whatever Atlanta Stadium is now called for getting autographs.
You can't ask for autographs. You're not even supposed to ask for pictures, I don't think.
No.
I think the same thing applies if you're in law enforcement. You pull somebody over, search their vehicle. In this case, it was a boat.
Hey,
and then at the end,
picture?
Go, hey, man, ain't shit I can get a picture before?
Yeah.
Get the heck out of here.
I think this picture looks like it was taken by, it's on Geraldo's page, so my guess is it was taken by Geraldo.
It almost sounds to me like he wanted to salute them, like, hey, guys,
right, someone
law enforcement.
And then as he was part of his party.
And then he was continuing his trip and cruising down the canal. He was playing the song, I Fought the Law, and the law didn't win.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty cool. Sorry, sorry, COVID. That's a pretty cool life, though, right? You can take a month off and just sail away.
I know.
Russell Westbrook had to leave the Sixers-Wizards game with an ankle injury, and he lost his cool after a Philadelphia fan dumped popcorn on him.
Oh, my God.
How did he respond?
Well, he lost his cool. Here's the announcer. This is what I have. The announcer ripping on the fan who did it. Here's audio.
Fans, come out and cheer, come out and boo, yell all you want. We encourage that. This is just plain stupidity. Somebody pouring some popcorn, and any athlete, being Westbrook or whomever, they are pumped with their adrenaline. He's probably feeling bad. His team may be en route here to losing this game, too. Just a stupid thing to do.
Philadelphia is up 2-0 in that series.
And not to mention, the cost for a bag of popcorn at this game, I mean, that's the stupid part. Guy probably spent like $15
You're right.
on that bag
You're
of popcorn.
absolutely right. Now, and the butter stains the uniform.
Right, it's greasy, yeah.
But they don't really put butter on stadium popcorn.
No.
It's not like the movie theater.
Well, they do the first round.
And I hate to say, but it's like popcorn. It's not like they dumped a beer on him. Right. I don't think it's as bad. I don't think it's good.
Agree.
It's not good. It's bad, but I don't think it's as bad as getting beer dumped on you.
Yeah, I agree with that, but fans can't be throwing their food on
I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe
lose
he looked
his cool,
hungry.
man.
I don't know. Maybe he was, he looked like he needed a snack.
But the fan, it looks like they found out who the fan was, and I see him getting escorted out of the stadium
and beaten, I believe.
There's a back room somewhere.
If they were in Philly, he probably got cheered.
TikTok user Amy Addison took part in a trend where you reveal the insane way you found out your ex-spouse was cheating on you. Here's how she is explaining how a birth announcement exposed her then husband, exposed the fact that he was living a double life. And this is quite interesting.
So about a week before our 10th wedding anniversary, I was in my office looking through the newspaper. They would publish birth announcements. So I see my husband's name and some other female's name. Knows his name because it was an unusual name. So I look at the hospital website where they had also would post pictures of new babies. Typed in his name and her first name. Sure enough, they had a baby boy a few days prior. But not only that, they had a baby girl about a year and a half before that.
Wow.
How is that guy agreeing to take pictures and allowing his name to be in a birth announcement?
Well, and you don't have to, right? I mean, the woman could have said unknown.
Wow. Look, I mean...
And you can always go back and change that if you decide you guys want to be together, but that could have been unknown. I'm
not saying that this is acceptable. Please don't misunderstand me. But there is the stepping out, right, and you end up hooking up with somebody, right, in a random situation. Then there is the carried on a simultaneous relationship and simultaneous family with another person, which is a whole new level.
I think this happens more often than you'll see it. Actually, you see it almost all the time on Lifetime. The Lifetime.
Oh yeah. Every man.
That's right.
In the Lifetime villages that they've created.
Correct.
Acts this way.
Has two different or three, maybe, different families going on.
And the ones who don't are actually just physically abusive.
This is... I kind of felt like only Americans are ridiculous, but I guess it's the rest of the world. Maybe it's just the human race in general. You know how you see these people went nuts a few years ago at the New York Art Gallery for the blank canvas?
Right.
Yeah. So what is the blank canvas? Well, it's a canvas, and there's nothing there. You mean you painted white on it? Nope, didn't do anything. I just hung it up. A lot of it has to do with the way the light reflects on it, I think. But people went nuts over this thing. How brilliant. The blank canvas.
I don't see it.
Because they can picture what they want the art to be.
Correct.
Although, as a procrastinator, this is a procrastinator's dream.
It might be.
Jeff, let me see the ideas you've come up with today. And you give him a blank piece of paper and you go, look at this. Smartest thing I've ever done.
For those defending the artist, I guess you'd have to be a really great artist in order for somebody to say, well, we know what he can accomplish or she can accomplish. The fact that this is almost like a modern type interpretation of art. I mean, it's brilliant. What a brilliant. No one's ever thought of this before. Now, if I were to do it, like, check this out. Look what I've done. I would just be a guy that went over to Michael's and picked up a canvas and put it on the wall.
Well, Bill,
That's stupid.
You may be able to submit it at the Summer Arts Fest.
I might do it.
Coming back
I
this year.
might do it. Blank canvas. You know, I copied this exactly the way that guy did in New York. If you look, this is a complete. I did about the same job that he did, and I'm a novice at it. It's incredible.
You know, and you said some people think, well, nobody's ever thought of this before. Actually, someone has. The guy who makes the canvases.
You're right. You're right.
He's the true artist.
If only everyone would do it. By the way, I bring this up because artist Salvatore Garou, I believe I'm saying it properly, sold the very first invisible sculpture.
Stop it.
And it's sold, honest to God, and it's sold, and by the way, it's entitled A Concentration of Thoughts. It's sold for 15,000 euros.
And there's nothing. The person who bought it got nothing.
It is an invisible sculpture.
Oh, only in the world.
Just like the one on my shoulder here. See it?
Only in the world.
Look how strong I am.
Only in the world where you can make more money sitting at home on the couch than actually going to work.
You're right.
Do we have the
invisible
blank
sculptures.
canvas and we have the invisible sculpture? The people pay $15,000 for.
Yes. And by the way, Rachel Sutherland, you can rent that for your home for a measly $10,000 if you'd like. We'll send it through email to you. It's incredible. Rachel,
it would definitely be a conversation piece in my home.
You're right, and it gets people talking, doesn't it? It really
the most
does.
common feedback I got was...
Try it. When I have my first people over, I'm going to say, I have an invisible sculpture. Don't you love it?
Isn't it
And
beautiful?
then there's going to be those people that are like, I don't see it.
Of course you don't. You don't have the ability that I have. Good morning, Rachel Sutherland. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, we're moving along through all of this, and actually, in New York, things are getting better, and we now are to a point where President Biden is standing up and saying we need answers as to where this virus came from and whether or not it really did come from the Wuhan lab. All right.
Yes, the president has ordered intelligence agencies to investigate more deeply into that idea. And into the idea it could have been natural in origin, but to investigate the idea it could have come from a lab, and he's given them 90 days to report back. You know, a year ago, if you had posted something like this on social media, you would have been flagged. So it's interesting how things change all of a sudden.
So glad you pointed that out, Rachel.
Yeah. Well, the reality is it does need to be investigated, but really investigated. What the World Health Organization did not seem, I mean, there were many, many obstacles put up, and you had to follow the criteria set forth by the Chinese. There needs to be a real investigation.
Well, and I'm wondering, we have 17 intelligence agencies, all under the Director of National Intelligence. We have spies. The idea that we're more than a year out in this, and we still don't know, it seems preposterous. But
it really does.
Maybe we'll know something at the end of 90 days, but the worry is that maybe we know something and it's classified, or maybe we'll just get a little bit of information. And it's really frustrating because our lives have been turned upside down and people have lost loved ones. I mean, we need to know, and it's very frustrating that we're this far out and we still don't know if it was a bat or, a natural phenomenon or in a lab.
Well, and, you bring up, we have spies, we have, think of what we can do with, God forbid, a jumbo jet that goes down and crashes into a million pieces. And it's scattered all over a region of somewhere in the world. Yeah, we can go in and we can start putting pieces together. We can basically put all the pieces together to the point where we know exactly what happened. How do we do that? And we can't figure this out.
Well, what about that aircraft that disappeared? Isn't that still?
It's still missing.
Yes. That's a good point.
A Malaysian aircraft, I don't know what happened to it. I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate. But I do believe we should have known something by now, and maybe we will. But then the question is, what do we do about it? And that's where it gets really complicated with China.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true conspiracy theorist, Rachel.
Well, and the other part of this, though, too, is hearing it from Biden is kind of like everything else from Joe Biden. It's not as exciting as what you'd get from President Trump, because usually President Trump was deflecting some Russian allegations by saying, "Look over here, the Chinese they caused all of this from a lab." So I think that the way the world reacts to Joe Biden is so much different than the excitement of President Trump.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a anticlimax there with this, but the hope is that we will come to some kind of conclusion. But again, and knowing what happened and the actions that will come out of that, they're two separate things. And so I'll be waiting along with everyone else to find out, because it's been really frustrating not to know.
And then one more note. I mean, it is not going out there on a limb and assuming that the Chinese government has hidden what really happened. I mean, think of how they dealt with the virus. I mean, the human rights and the rights of humans played no role in their battle against coronavirus.
No, remember, they were welding people shut into their homes.
Yep.
I mean, that should have been it was scary at the time to see that and think, that is just unbelievable. So,
yep.
But that's the action they took to contain it, and it still didn't contain it.
Right. Okay, Rachel, thanks so much. Have a wonderful day. Rachel Sutherland from Fox News. It's 6:53. We'll break and come back here. Much to get to today. This morning, we will talk with conservative. He was formerly at a radio show, right? But now he travels the country defending and promoting the conservative values of his father, Michael Reagan, the son of the late President Ronald Reagan, is on this morning. And we've got about Andrew's told me about a 30-second window with him. And no, what do we have? It's like 8 minutes, 9 minutes?
I think we're going to end up having 10, hopefully.
10 minutes, okay. So we got to get all our questions in there. He'll be talking about the Reagan Legacy Foundation, which honors veterans with the Walkaway to Victory Project. Michael Reagan, the son of President Reagan, on the air next hour. That's going to be pretty cool.
This podcast is sponsored by Ramp. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/easy. Ramp.com/easy. RAMP.com/easy.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.